This is a KMVT sports presentation.
And welcome to high school volleyball tonight from Los Altos High. It's the Mountain View Spartans and the Los Altos Eagles on KMVT. Good De Anza Division matchup for you. And thanks for tuning in. Along with Andre Polizzi, I'm Brian Burkett. And Andre, you look at this match, this is the second meeting of the year. The first time these two teams met, Mountain View shocked LA.
Yes, Los Altos and Mountain View met at Mountain View High School back on October the 8th. A 5-game match, a heartbreaker for Los Altos. Afterwards, they went outside, and the team leaders, led by Becca Sines and Kristen Winters, they kind of vented a little frustration. They wanted to go undefeated in league this year, and after that match, obviously that wasn't going to happen. But Los Altos still a very good team, perhaps underachieving a little bit this year, given the talent that they might have. But Mountain View played a very good match that night, and they hope to duplicate it tonight and continue their league winning streak.
Bad news, as Los Altos prepares for play tonight, they will be without the services of Christy Winters.
Yes, Winters has a minor stress fracture in her right foot. There you see Winters right there with the brace on her right leg, and she will not be able to play tonight. And for Los Altos, Coach Paul Lyles, assisted by Jeff Warnock, they really need somebody to step up. Becca Sines, as was proven in that first Mountain View match, cannot beat this team by herself. Lisa Radin, their young freshman center, will get them the ball, but Becca needs somebody else out there to be the other sort of tower on one side, tower on the other that you need. And they need Liz Repito or perhaps Hayla Pormond to really step it up tonight and get things going for them besides Becca Sines.
Run down of the starting lineups. First for Mountain View, 19-6 overall, 5-2 in the division. Jody Antipas, the junior center. Katie Azaparty, 5'8 senior middle blocker. Christy Leschuk, their big gun, an outside hitter, a 5'9 senior. Liz Farmer, Courtney Rose, and Annie Teep round out the starting six for first-year coach Steve Santonastazo. His team doing very well here in the 1996 season. For Paul Lyles, the LA head coach, Karen Tanaka, Becca Sines, and Lisa Radin, the freshman setters, start up front. Katie Harrington, Jalea Pormond, and Izzy Azadier getting the starts in the back row, and part of that because of Winter's injury.
We talked about what Los Altos needs to do. They need to have somebody step up. For the Spartans, you've already got a couple of hitters in place, Katie Azaparty and Christy Leschuk, who really had a great match in their first meeting between these two teams. If Christy Leschuk takes control starting in game one, this could be a quick night for Los Altos. And you really don't want to see that happen to the Eagles on their home floor with the injury to Winters and everything. But let's keep our fingers crossed that this will be a good, tight match.
Diane Craner, the top official, veteran CCS official, and Jessica Thurber, the down ref for this one. First whistle, first serve, here we go from Los Altos. Karen Tanaka puts it in play for the Eagles. The dink is short by Azaparty, point LA. Tanaka, 5'8 junior. Sends it across. The Eagles only suiting 9 players tonight. Radin with a bump set. Pormond with the free ball. Chance for Mountain View. Deep ball by Teep. Overset. Lands on Mountain View's side of the floor. And another Eagle point, 2-0.
Well, something that happened between these two teams, Brian, the first time that they met back on October the 8th, there was a lot of runs in the match. 10-0 runs, 6-0 runs, and looks like Los Altos is going to have the first of those here tonight.
Good setup. And Azaparty with the tap. And a side out, the Spartans to serve for the first time.
Azaparty and Leschuk will both keep you guessing. They can dink it at any time, they can laser shot it at any time, and you don't know what's always coming. But if they put it in the middle of the floor, no matter what, it's going to be a side out or a point for Mountain View.
Liz Farmer, a 5'4 junior with a good serve, tough to handle. Radin with the free ball. Conversion opportunity, Spartans. Antipas with the setup to Teep. Good scrambling effort. Sines with a line drive return. Back to Azaparty. Out of the ceiling. Free ball by Karen Tanaka. Azaparty left side. It's in. And the Spartans are on the scoreboard.
Here's another look. Coming at the end of that long rally, and Azzopardi just not really getting the shot she wanted on that, but she got the break.
Ace off Izzy Zatyer's wrist, and we're tied at 2 in game 1.
Ball going all the way outside the gym into the front lobby, out near the concession stand out there. Becca Signs, the superstar for Los Altos, running it down.
Mountain View has scored the last 2 points after Los Altos jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Trouble, and a lift is called. Lift called against Courtney Rose, side out LA.
Yeah, Courtney Rose got both her fists together and she kind of underhanded it instead of bumping it, so to speak. And that's a no-no.
Served right at Leschuk. Timing a little off, but Teep manages to kill it, side out Mountain View.
Annie Teep, good with the slap shot. She got the right part of her fist on that one. Just slapped it home.
Paul Lyle's team to receive the serve from Katie Azzopardi. Eagles check in 13-7 overall, and Becca Signs flexing early. She gets her first kill.
Well, Becca Signs will be a force in any match she plays in, no matter who's on the other team. She's always going to find openings. She's always going to have a lot of good nights and a lot of good hits, and that was one of them, her first of the night. But she's going to need some help tonight. She can't do it alone.
Freshman setter Lisa Radin to put it in play. And what a year this young lady is having. Trouble at the scorers table. Jessica Thurber, the down official, looking over the lineups. Liz Ripito, 5'9" sophomore, is checked in for Los Altos. Tied race in the De Anza division. St. Francis at 7-1. Mountain View is at 5-2. The Eagles at 5-3. Palo Alto having a good year in the De Anza division, coming up from the El Camino. The Vikings 5-4. Los Gatos a little down at 4-4. Monte Vista and Lynbrook round things out in the De Anza division.
Well, Palo Alto, Brian, obviously the surprise team here in the De Anza division this year. And a lot of people surprised that Los Altos only 5-3. St. Francis has really dominated. And that Los Gatos is only at 4-4. But Julie Yick not getting enough help over there for head coach Joe Ripp and the Wildcats.
A frustrated look on the face of head coach Steven Santanastazo of Mountain View. We will tell you why in just a moment. Lisa Radin to serve. The score is 3-2. LA taking the lead. And Andre, the reason LA took the lead, we had a little bit of a delay. Jessica Thurber was over at the table looking over the lineups. LA awarded a point because Mountain View served out of rotation.
Yes, Katie Azzopardi was not supposed to be the next server. Liz Farmer always their first server, but Azzopardi not always the second server. She wasn't supposed to be this time.
Hitting error for Jalais Parmand, and that's a Mountain View point. Evens the score at 3-3. So a break for Paul Lyle's team, a very unusual call. You don't see that very often. But Lyle's question went to the book, and it paid off. Service error, and it's back over to the Eagles, tied at 3 in game 1. Becca Signs to serve for Los Altos. Signs, a 6-foot senior. Trouble in the back row. Free balled by Antipas. Radin setting it, and the kill. Liz Ripito checked in at the last break, and she notches her first kill.
Ripito, just a sophomore, and you're going to see her right here in the middle take charge and pound it home. Boom, there it is, right in the right side of the back row. Nobody there.
Liz has a sister Ann, plays field hockey here at Los Altos. Chalk up another Eagle point, and the Spartans having trouble on serve receive.
Well, you got to decide before things start when it's hit. If you're there, you got to hit the ball. You can't just expect somebody else to take it for you. Mountain View finding that out right now. Matter of fact, the point that set up match point in the first meeting between these two was a service ace that nobody wanted. 3 players there, nobody hit it. That set up match point, and they went on to win.
Azzopardi dug by Signs. Bump set Radin, deep ball Ripito. Leschuk dug. Cleared by Azaparty. 5-3 LA, game one. Back set, Pormon right side, floats long, and a side out. Mountain View gets the serve back down by 2.
Well, Hayla Pormon that time, trying to aim that one. Took a lot of time to hit it, and when she did, she just hit it too long. Now we're gonna look at their team captain, setter Jody Antipus, and she's a pretty good server as well, Brian.
Good serve by Jody, went right at Katie Harrington. Line drive by Becca Signs. That's the thing about Signs, no matter where she is on the floor, she seems to make something out of nothing. Tanaka looping one from the left side. Chance for the Spartans. Roof, good job by LA. Kept alive, Azaparty another try, dinking, Raiden clears. Joust, side out Los Altos, Ripito with the kill.
Well, we talked a little bit earlier, Brian, about how both Katie Azaparty and Christy Leschuk, as we take another look, will at any time either dink, slap at it like that, or punch it over hard with a kill attempt. And Los Altos, Liz Ripito saying right there, hey, I can do that too. She hits it just over the net, and it's a home run.
Number 8, Maria Saldana, has checked in for Los Altos. She serves. Number 7, Melanie Eusis, just lifted the ball for the Spartans. Point Eagles.
Melanie had a great match last week against Los Gatos. Matter of fact, as one of the rare lefties here in the De Anza division, she had a rare opposite number matching against her when Los Gatos also had a lefty number 7 playing for them.
Dink by Azaparty, side out Mountain View. The Spartans only had one match last week, and you touched on it, Andre. They beat Los Gatos in 5 games, a thrilling match over at the Chester A-Wall Gym. This week, a 3-match week for the Spartans. They will play Palo Alto and Lynbrook later on this week. 6-3 LA, setting up for a side out. Whistle, Mountain View in the net. Chalk it up for Karen Tanaka and the Eagles.
Well, Brian, just to finish up what we were talking about just a minute ago, this would seem to be the toughest match of the 3 of the week for the Spartans. I may be overestimating, or underestimating, I should say, Palo Alto just a little bit, but Lynbrook is not very good this year, and if Mountain View gets the win tonight to win their 6th straight league match, there's no reason really that they shouldn't go 8-0 in league in a row come Saturday night.
Yeah, they started off 0-2 in the division, losing to St. Francis and Los Gatos, but Steve Santo Anastasio's team has really been on fire. They just sided out, and back to serve is number 10, Courtney Rose.
Well, I got one more thing to add, but I'll wait till after this point.
It's 6-3 Los Altos, service error. Andre, the floor is yours.
That Lynbrook match Saturday night, that was supposed to be back earlier in the season on the Mountain View schedule. It was originally typed in on September the 26th, but it's been rescheduled after they had some delay problems.
Leschuk down the line, side out Spartans.
Christy Leschuk, probably the MVP of that match against Los Altos a month ago. And it's been quite quiet here in the early going of game 1, but that's something Paul Lyles would like to see continue. I don't think he'll get his wish.
Liz Farmer, 5'4" junior, serving for the 2nd time. Becca Signs left side. Farmer with a dig, out of the rafters. Side out Los Altos, good effort by the Spartans, but Signs able to end that rally with a major blow from the left side.
Well, Antipus tried to save that one. The ball Liz Farmer hit up in the roof, went right back at her, and she can't hit it again, of course, or it'd be a double hit. So Antipus tried to save it, but there was nothing she could do about it. It was hit too hard.
Signs tried to tap it over. Leschuk did a good job at the net. Side out Spartans.
Leschuk kind of went up as a shadow that time and distracted Signs just enough to make her hit it too low.
Leschuk serves at Signs, back to Becca. Farmer with a nice dig. Nearly lifted. Spartan fans cackle. Raiden free balls. Azaparty led too far, didn't get a good swing. To the middle, Pormon. Side out, Los Altos sticking with things, and the Eagles win the rally with Antipus. looking around, looking for some help. Steve Santanastazzo also wondering where the defense was on that occasion.
Coach S, one of the good young coaches in this league, and this is one of the best coach leagues overall that you'll find. A lot of good coaches throughout the CCS, but at least 5 in this league.
Side out Spartans. We're in game 1, 6-3, Los Altos out in front, but the teams have been exchanging quite a few side outs.
That was indicative of what happened in match number 1 between these two teams. They've also met in one of the earlier tournaments this year, and that was, of course, tournament play rules where you only have 3 games, 2 out of 3, and Los Altos won that.
Becca Signs rifling it down the line. And Becca exerting herself, but Andre, you touched on it. As Signs goes back to serve, she needs to get some help. She can't do it by herself.
Well, Liz Ripeto's had a couple of good shots and played some good defense at the net, but she's been in and out, and she's gonna have to be on the floor more. And there's Liz Ripeto again, Bri.
Good job at the net by Ripeto. Point LA, 7-3 Eagles. The Eagles have scored 4 consecutive points. Azzopardi shoveled by Harrington. Trouble, Ripeto free balls. Back to the Eagles, Tanaka. Point Los Altos. Timeout Spartans, a 5-0 Eagle run in game 1, and it's 8-3 Los Altos. Some Spartan fans showing up in the Los Altos gym.
Well, they were at Mountain View too, and of course the Los Altos fans came over there when you're in such close proximity like you are at the high school and junior college and college levels in some cases. You always get the opposing fans there. I wouldn't let them hang signs in my gym though. Heck no, I'd put a stop to that.
Mountain View keeps it alive. Good job by the Spartans. Raiden, woo! Azzopardi and Rose with the rejection of Tanaka.
I don't know how they didn't hit it 4 times earlier in that point. There you see him after they got it back over with what I thought was at least a 4th or 5th hit. And then the roof. And Mountain View, despite being down 3-8, playing fairly well.
Antipus with a jump serve. Floated across. Liz Ripeto, high fives all around, kind of grinning. It looked like she really wanted to hammer it, but she just kind of dinked it.
That's exactly what she wanted to do. She barely got a knuckle or 2 on it, and it still went over the heads of the front line and in front of the back line, which is right where you want to place it anyway. Hit hard or hit soft.
Harrington, Tanaka, and Ripeto up front. Maria Saldana with the serve. Melanie Eusis with a swing from the left side, kind of off balance, but it fell for Melanie. Side out Mountain View.
Melanie, as we were talking about earlier, a good match last week against Los Gatos. Her and Christy Leschuk, with Katie Azzopardi kind of having an off night, leading the way to victory.
Azzopardi with the serve in this sequence. Eusis with a dig. Leschuk, deep ball. 2 deep, side out Los Altos.
Well, Katie Azzopardi, last week we were just talking about her kind of having an off match last week against Los Gatos. She's kind of one of those, either hits it too far or hits it just right. She never seems to hit it too short. That one too far.
5'6" senior Izzy Azadier with the serve, right at Katie Azzopardi. Here's Leschuk ramming it down for the side out. Christie really got off on a good swing there.
Leschuk, one of the all-league players for Mountain View last year. And as a matter of fact, back when they did the season previews, as you take another look at Christy Leschuk's big whomp, there it is. Talking about Leschuk and Mountain View before the season started, the paper said, well, Mountain View's only returning 2 starters. They're going to have a tough year in the division. It'll just be Antipus and Leschuk, and look out, Mountain View's not going to be very good. But Mountain View's certainly been a lot better than the papers thought.
Side out Los Altos, good effort by Courtney Rose, but this is a scrappy Mountain View team. They just get after everything, and I think especially with that win in 5 games over Los Altos the first time, they feel like they're in every match. They never count themselves out. Punched wide by Annie Teep, point LA.
Well, you can talk about it this way. They lost their first 2 league matches this year to St. Francis and Los Gatos, who they have since beaten, Los Gatos that is. And that match against Los Altos the first time really gave them the confidence that they can win. And they believe it, and good coaching from Coach S has really helped lead the way.
Becca Signs from the left side. That's an Eagle point. And now it's 10-3 Los Altos. They have scored 7 straight points.
There you see a couple of bumps. And Los Altos getting a good shot that time, right on the back line. And we've been some pretty close calls on lines and lines persons this year in the De Anza division and KMVT broadcasts, and that one another one, but no complaints.
Signs from Raiden around the block. Point Los Altos, the Eagles 11 and the Spartans 3.
Only one game in the match between these two teams earlier was a rout. It was game 3 and Mountain View really took it to them. But other than that, it was pretty much a close match the whole way, and Los Altos looks like they're trying to pull a trigger here in game 1, get it over with quickly and try and romp.
Good recovery by the Spartans. Free ball by Leschuk, nearly fell. Now the Eagles scramble. Saldana free balls, and it's in.
Maria Saldana's going to get a pretty lucky shot here. Good strategic bump, trying to just get it over, and it fell.
LA just served into the net. Side out Spartans. And this is Liz Farmer, number 9, coming back in. Farmer, a junior. Very good defensive player. 12-3, Los Altos out in front. Nearly an ace for Farmer. Leschuk unable to finish. Harrington free balls. Conversion opportunity, Spartans. Leschuk another go. Mark it on the ice. Point Mountain View.
There you see Christy Leschuk, and there's a look at some of the stuff on her resume.
That ends a 9-0 scoring spurt for Paul Lyle's team. Farmer with a laser. Signs. Mountain View plays it out of the rafters. Katie Harrington, it's still alive. Azaparty can't quite clear it. Good effort by Katie Azaparty, side out Los Altos.
I mentioned earlier, Brian, the first match between these two, there was a lot of runs. 9-0, 10-0, 6-0, 4-0. And already in game 1, we've already had, what did you say it was, a 9-0 run for Los Altos that just ended? So expect to see a few more of those, especially if this one goes the distance.
Katie Harrington serve handled. Leschuk shoveled by Harrington. Hormon punches. Teep, whistle. Teep was in the net. That's an Eagle point. And Santo Nastazo just kicks back in the chair. His team down by 9.
Coach S has really done a great job this year, and we were talking earlier about how this division really has some great coaches, and shortly Coach S's name will be among them.
Ace for Harrington. Game point number 1 for Los Altos. Paul Lyle's team looking good here in game 1. They're up by 10, looking to put the butter on the popcorn. Leschuk. Signs with the block. Leschuk again. Back to the Spartans. Point LA, mishit by Teep. 15-4, the Eagles win game 1. The Eagles lead this best of 5 game match 1-0. This is high school volleyball on KMVT. Los Altos scored 12 of the last 13 points in the opening game. 15-4, the Eagles up 1-0 in this best of 5 game match. Paul Lyles had to be pleased with his team's effort in the opening game. We'll see how game 2 goes. Liz Farmer serving for Mountain View. Becca Signs off Farmer and outside out Los Altos.
Well, Becca Signs has her team prepared today. At this point, there won't have to be any yelling or screaming or venting outside the gym after the match, but hey, it's 5 games, not 3.
Ace for Katie Harrington. That's the second Los Altos ace. 1-0 Eagles. Should point out for those who may just be joining us, Kristen Winters not in the LA lineup today. Out of action with a minor stress fracture in her right foot. 4 hits. Point Los Altos. Winters, if you don't follow Los Altos volleyball, one of the top outside hitters. Steve Santanastaso's team down by 2, starting game 2. Good serving by Harrington so far. The kill for Katie Azzopardi.
Well, for the Mountain View fans, as you see Kristen Winters sitting there talking to Liz Ripito. The optimist for the Mountain View fans would be saying that perhaps we're a little rusty. The pessimist would be saying, well, Los Altos played great in game 1, and they'd both be right.
Game 2 getting off to a similar start that game 1 had. Azzopardi with the serve. Radin with a set slam. Good job by the Spartans to keep it alive. Radin, the freshman setter, teeing it up for Becca Signs.
Well, you got the meeting of 2 generations right here. There's the Generation X in Becca Signs slamming it home. And here's Generation Y, Lisa Radin, who's going to carry this team the next 3 years, setting it up to people like Liz Ripito. And Gen Y to Gen X certainly works for Los Altos.
Radin, a member of the class of 2000. Leschuk with the kill, and the momentum shifts right back to the Spartans.
Christy Leschuk says, I deserve to be spoken of in the same breath as my counterpart Becca Signs. I'm as good a hitter as her. You give me a decent set, you give me some room, you give me a good time jump, I'm gonna nail you. She took out the hammer on that one.
Annie Teep, who also plays basketball at Mountain View, serves it right into the net. Mountain View's 3rd service error, first error here in game number 2. Becca Signs to put it in play. Signs a very good server. Talk about her hitting so much, sometimes you forget she can serve. And pretty good blocking by LA.
Well, Christy Leschuk had to look back after that shot. She couldn't believe that it got blocked so hard. Leschuk goes up here, and Hello finds both Kayla Pormond and Liz Ripito in her way.
Azzopardi with the free ball, 3-0 Eagles in game 2. Ripito smacked it into the net. Side out Spartans. Jody Antipas is back to serve.
Well, Mountain View needs a spark, and Liz Farmer, pretty much their #1 server, always starts matches for them, always starts games for them. Well, they need somebody to give them a spark, maybe an ace or 2, and Christy Leschuk to finish off a couple points and kind of do something here in game 2 to get the team going.
The lefty Melanie Eusis denied as Harrington free ball. Leschuk eventually terminates, but Los Altos not giving in easily.
This is what we're talking about. Mountain View has now scored a point. They've gotten on the board for just the 5th time today. And this is an opportunity where you can come back with an ace or another couple points and kind of get some momentum in game 2. Still early.
Becca Signs down the line.
Well, we talked about it earlier, some close calls, some discrepancies with linespersons, and we're not going to rehash all the talk about getting paid linespersons and all that again. That's been done too much this year, but Steven Santanastaso not too happy with that call, and a very close call. And of course, you've got Los Altos students working the lines here.
Well, we're going to have another line controversy.
Head ref today, Diana Craner, assisted by Jessica Thurber. They're talking over the linespersons. I'd imagine the main point of this conversation, Brian, has to do with if you're going to make the call, at least make it right away and help us out, no matter which way you go.
From up top, Diane Craner called it in. The linesperson called it out, and that's why we have the summit meeting taking place. Los Altos serving as play resumes. The call was that the ball was in, and now free ball long by the Spartans. Point LA takes the score to 4-1 Eagles, and the fans are starting to get into it here at Los Altos High.
Well, this is a little dangerous for Mountain View, Brian. That long stoppage of play really damaged Mountain View's momentum if they had any in game one. Let's see if it's done it to them again.
Christy Leschuk, she paints the stripe, side out Spartans.
Well, Christy Leschuk about to not let that happen again. Kind of happened to him in game one. That little lull seemed to take any wind they had out of their sails, and Los Altos rolled. Let's see what Leschuk does as she starts this one.
Point Mountain View. It's the Eagles 4, the Spartans 2, and the Spartan fans are starting to get pumped up. We saw the Mountain View Spartan banner, courtesy of the Mountain View student body a moment ago. Another chance. Deep ball played up. Here's Karen Tanaka, shoveled by Annie Teep. Free balled wide, and a side out. Los Altos gets the serve back, leading 4-2 in game two.
Well, Brian almost getting overrun there by Jody Antipus of Mountain View, but she almost got to it and took care of business. But just getting back to talking about the Mountain View fans, they've been really frustrated and getting hyper lately following a couple of football losses that really has the fans of Spartan football demoralized, and they're getting behind their hot volleyball team.
Signs Doug Azaparty, free balled by Izzy Azadier. Antipus setting it up. Courtney Rose was denied. Free ball by Katie Harrington. Katie Azaparty. Raiden back setting, Signs deep ball. Here's Rose. Melanie Eustace with a ding. Side out Mountain View.
Melanie Eustace, kind of the forgotten third man, so to speak, behind Christy Leschuk and Katie Azaparty, but she can mix it in there with her left hand, and a nice little tap like that always works once in a while.
Nearly an ace. Played out of the net, lift call, side out Los Altos.
Well, Los Altos really won't let Mountain View get anything stringy going. They won't let a long run happen. They won't let continuous exchange of side outs happen. Mountain View is just going to have to make it happen.
5'8" junior Karen Tanaka sends it out of bounds. Third Los Altos service error. And now Liz Farmer back into serve for Mountain View. Ace! Spartans within one, 3 serving 4. Los Altos won the opening game 15-4, and after the ace, Farmer right back with an error, side out Eagles.
Well, Liz Farmer, one of the better servers on the Mountain View team, but as always, it's high risk, high reward, high penalty. One followed the other that time.
One rotation complete for Los Altos. Harrington's serve is handled. Azaparty rejected. Spartans play up. Back to Katie. Punched into the net. Point LA.
LA sees Mountain View come up with a couple of points, and right away they go back and get one of their own, continuing to stem the tide.
Harrington loops. Antipus almost put it away. Azaparty a chance. Azaparty again. Third time's the charm. Side out.
Well, Katie Azaparty kind of caught Los Altos off guard there. LA unsure of how to handle that last hit, and it cost him.
Azaparty serving with Teep, Antipus, and Leschuk up front. Right at Izzy Azadier, and Azadier's had a couple of problems on serve receive. Point Mountain View. The Let's Go Spartans chant emerging from the Mountain View students. Chance to tie on this rally. Shank receive. Hormon hit it into the net. We are knotted at 5.
This is what I was talking about earlier on in this game, Brian. Mountain View with a couple of good serves and scoring some points off of the serves along with the aces that they've gotten can kind of establish some momentum, and they have.
Ace! 4th Mountain View ace of the match. A 5-0 Spartan run. They take a 6-5 lead in game 2. This is the first time in either game that Mountain View's been ahead. Shanked by Signs. Point Mountain View. Timeout LA, and Paul Lyles is not happy at all. 5 Spartan aces, including back-to-back there, and Mountain View is up by 2.
Well, Mountain View, obviously after game 1, we talked about how the little lull kind of hurt them in game 1, and Christy Leschuk not about to let that happen. It looked like it might start happening again after the little lull at the beginning of game 2, but Mountain View taking it upon themselves not to let that happen, and Paul Lyles, who's seen a fair share of tears and victory smiles this year. Gotta hope that his team can rally here and get a 2-0 advantage, and it looks like the Banner boys are at it again, and this is the kind of stuff you don't want to see happen in your gym.
The Beat LA banner being paraded around the Los Altos gymnasium. (7-5) Mountain View with the lead. A 6-0 run for Katie Azzopardi's team. Another tough serve, and then a hitting error. 8-5 Spartans.
Well, you can definitely say the Mountain View Spartan fans have gotten hyper. A tough football loss to Fremont last week. The volleyball team doing well, and beating Los Gatos is something the football team can't do. Hey, they got to have something to use their energy on, and they've turned it to the volleyball team.
Both of these teams are ranked in the top 10 in the Central Coast section rankings. Mountain View moving up to number 5 after being 7th a week ago. Los Altos dropped to number 6 after being in that 5 spot. These two teams evenly matched. So far it's been a good match. Leschuk. That'll go back to Christie. Same result, dug by Tanaka. Tanaka free balls. Farmer backtracked, freed by Antipas. Radin to Signs. No touch. Ball long, side out.
Mountain View very smart to let that one go. I thought they were going after it, but fortunately, if they were going after it, for Mountain View that is, they missed it, and it went long. Mountain View definitely more aggressive in this game too, Brian. It seems in game 1 they were on the defensive. When you get behind, sometimes that happens. When Becca Signs is shooting balls at you, when Liz Ripeto's confusing you, slapping some and hitting some hard, it's kind of hard to be offensive, but in game 2, they've definitely taken a more aggressive stance.
That ball is wide. Point Mountain View, and that takes the score to 9-5. Quen Chen, who came in to replace Annie Teep, continues serving. Chen clears the tape. The back set to Signs. The ball was touched by Azzopardi, side out Eagles.
Well, this is the time if the Eagles are going to make a statement in game 2. They don't necessarily have to come back and have a big comeback here at this point, but they kind of want to cool Mountain View's jets. This would be a good time to do that while it's still 9-5. Becca
Signs on serve. Here's Leschuk from the left. Signs with a good dig. Back over to the Spartans. Joust. Hanging on the net. Still alive. Radin to Tanaka. Banged wide. Side out.
Well, Tanaka, not the accomplished player that Ripeto and Kristen Winters and Becca Signs are. And Winters obviously doesn't get as much reps, or I should say, Tanaka doesn't get as much reps in the game, but she does tonight with Winters out. And that showed right there. She doesn't get as many reps.
Melanie Eusis checks in on the front lines for the Spartans. Quen Chen let it go. Good idea. Point Spartans. 10-5 the score, and the Eagles in a little bit of trouble here in game 2.
Well, Brian, we talked about it. The first time these two teams met, there was only one game of dominance. They went back and forth, one win, one win, one win, one win.
Poor hit call, side out. Andre, it's funny, in game one, Los Altos en route to victory had a 9-0 run. Here in game two, Mountain View is on a 9-0 run currently, and they lead by 5, 10-5. Ella Pormond is out. Maria Saldana in to serve. Christy Leschuk flying out of nowhere, side out.
Christy Leschuk kind of quiet in game one, and you don't get to be an all-league player being quiet in games 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You got to make a lot of noise. Leschuk with that fist certainly can.
Top serve. Harrington. Dug by Chen. Azzopardi. Spartans working on the left side of the net. Tanaka with a free ball, but Leschuk is there. Eustace with a southpaw style. Point Mountain View.
That's where Eustace will catch you. You're expecting 95% right-handed hitters, and when that 5% shows up, high, corner, score.
Eustace appropriately wears that number 7. She's the 7th man for head coach Steve Santonastazo. Time has been called by the Eagles. The Spartans are up 11-5 in game 2. They are fired up here at Los Altos High School. The rally continues as the buzzer goes off in the gym. LA converts, side out, 11-5. Los Altos down by 6 here in game 2.
I was going to say, Brian, when you don't turn off the timeout timer, when you start before the timeout is officially over, and the refs have okayed that to be all right. Unlike in a Oilers 49er game, though, that play will count.
That was a good job by the players, too, to keep that rally going. They weren't fazed by the buzzer. Coaches always say, play the whistle, and all 12 players on the floor did a good job to keep that rally going. Here's Becca Sines. Eustace, boy, that left-handed attack really giving Los Altos trouble, side out.
Melanie Eustace, one of the stars against Los Gatos. There's Melanie. Melanie is 5'8" and a member of the class of 1998.
Annie Teep returns. Courtney Rose to serve. 11-5 Spartans. Mountain View looking to even up this match at a game apiece. LA won the first game 15-4. Harrington swings by. Antipas with the dig. Azzopardi looking to stuff. Azadier got dirty. Teep denied by Sines. Free ball by Izzy. And it is out of bounds to the Los Altos Eagles. And Andre, next time I'll dive for that ball. That one came flying right at us. They get the look on replay. Coming right over in our direction.
Yes, I had to get out the big glove and field that one. Eustace,
side out.
Now Melanie Eustace having a great game too. Coach S, no matter how good his team does this year, he knows he still has Melanie Eustace for another year, and Antipus, of course, will be back. Mountain View could be a strong team in the SCVAL Deanza division for a while.
Mountain View serving has been very tough. Los Altos having all sorts of trouble, and then Becca Sines hitting it right into the net. Point Mountain View, 12-5. Spartans with the lead. Coach S watching his team on an 11-0 run. Sines, good blocking. Antipas and Teep. Here's Azzopardi. Teep with the termination. Point.
Well, that bump on the dig was just hit so hard it went all the way back over the net, and Annie Teep said, hey, look what's coming to me. Took it, hammered it, here it comes. Boom. Right in the middle of the floor. Nobody home, point Mountain View.
Becca Sines. Side out, Los Altos.
Well, Paul Lyles going with another substitution, working on his clipboard.
Ayla Pormon, number 10, is in for the Eagles. Katie Harrington trying to get Los Altos off the floor here. Mountain View 2 points away from winning the game. Pormon rifled it into the net, side out, Azzopardi retreats. Becca Signs. Trouble. Raiden hit it twice. Game point. Mountain View looking to even up this best-of-5 game match.
Well, the Eagles won game 1 15-4. Let's see if Mountain View can win game 2 15-5.
They do. Point and game Spartans. And we are tied at 1 in this best-of-5 game match.
If you thought this was going to be a quick one, Brian, you're wrong. We're in for another 5-gamer perhaps coming up.
It's now a best-of-3 match, 15-5. The Spartans win game 2, and you're watching high school volleyball on KMVT. Back at Los Altos High School, the home team won game 1. The visitors took game 2. Some Los Altos students have painted their faces for this particular occasion.
Well, apparently it seems they've also painted their lips shut. We haven't heard much from the Los Altos fans, but the Hyper Spartan fans certainly have voiced their opinion and run around the gym and genuinely made silly, but their game 2 team's performance backed it up.
Los Altos serving to start the 3rd game.
We were a little bit delayed. They had to turn off the clock for the between game timeout so it wouldn't buzz again in the middle of a point.
Annie Teep with a free ball. Raiden to Harrington. Rejection, but the play's still alive. Azzopardi with a free ball. Raiden, cross court, Becca Signs. Leschuk with a dig. To and fro we go. Azzopardi with the put away, side out.
Well, Brian, I predicted before this match began that Mountain View would win this in 5 in a minor upset here at Los Altos High School. When I heard Kristen Winters was going to be out, I said Mountain View in 4. And after losing that first game, I thought, well, geez, Mountain View didn't come to play tonight. But the last game and now the start of game 3, Mountain View looks like I thought they were going to play all along.
Teep, point Spartans, 1-0 Mountain View in the 3rd game.
Well, that's twice balls have come right at Annie Teep in the last 10 points, and both times she's made Los Altos pay. They're going to have to stop hitting it right to her when she's in the middle of the net like that. Paul Lyles shaking his head and saying, boy, I didn't think we were going to have to stop Annie Teep, but we're going to have to stop hitting it to her, giving her a chance.
Another reason Lyles is shaking his head, a yellow card has just been issued to him. Lyles was looking for a net call against the Spartans, didn't get it, and Diane Craner, the up official, said, Paul, we're not going to have any of this tonight, and she whipped out the yellow card and put an end to matters right then and there. Azzopardi bidding for a kill, but Izzy Azatyar free balls. Annie Teep pounds it home, side out.
Well, I've been asking a question of a lot of people for the last couple weeks. Can you cash in yellow cards and get some money or something? Because Paul Lyles is certainly piling up a bunch of them, we shall say. Anytime his team seems to be giving him a little frustration, Lyles seems to get one.
2-0 following the ace. Azzopardi dealing an ace. 6 aces in the match for the Spartans. Nearly another one. Raiden Dinks. Teep. Pormon tried to get out of the way, and it's a 4-hit call. Point Spartans.
Well, the Spartans must be on some kind of run, Brian, going back to last game. 3-0 here in game number 3, and just a rout in game 2 for the Spartans.
Well, they had a 12-0 run in game number 2. That ball is down. Side out, Becca Signs with the kill.
Well, Becca's had about enough of this. She's out there on the front row. She needs some help. We pointed that out earlier. She got it in game 1. She hasn't gotten it so far in game 2 or 3 so far.
Raiden wings. Near the bench. Chalk it up. The Eagles get a point, and it's 3-1.
Lisa Raiden, one of the bright young stars in this De Anza division. She can do it all, except maybe really get a kill.
Side out Mountain View. The Spartans up by 2, and they get the serve back. Jody Antipas causing Paul Lyle's team fits.
Well, we talked about Steven Santanastasso, as you see him right there, one of the good young coaches. You've got so many big-name coaches in this league. You just have to do good one year to really get your star up there, but on successive years to get your name known, such as Dave Gamblin at St. Francis, and of course Paul Lyles at Los Altos, and of course Joe Ripp, who just started a couple of years ago, and already he's one of the big names.
Santanastasso took over for Randy Renoa, who was the head coach at Mountain View last year. Quen Chen with the serve. Maria Saldana is in the match for LA. Becca Signs, yet another kill for her. And you gotta wonder, Andre, Becca Signs, she's a senior, 6 feet tall. What are her prospects playing at the Division I level in college?
I'd say they're very good. She may not wind up at one of the big-time schools if she wants to play. There's a lot of players who are better than her. She's very good, as we mentioned. Maybe even gets the great label, but she's not going to be the big gun at a school like Stanford or perhaps Cal.
In or out? The call is out. Becca Signs says, whoa, wait a minute here.
We'll get another look at it, Brian. Melanie Eustace. See the back of her, and Christy Leschuk's push. Long shot, and that appears to be out, but was there a touch?
Leschuk at the net for the block and the Mountain View point. Spartans 5, Eagles 1.
How about Christy Leschuk's prospects for playing at a Division I college?
Leschuk also a senior.
They've certainly gotten better this year.
Courtney Rose jousting with Lisa Raiden, a bit of a mismatch there. Rose played up. Here's Leschuk again. Kept alive by Raiden. Liz Ripetso with the free ball. Antipas to Leschuk. Mark it on the ice. Point Mountain View.
That one right off of Liz Ripetto. And the thing about hitting hard, Brian, as we'll get another look at this, the thing I was going to say about hitting it hard, if you hit it hard enough times, sometimes it is going to get blocked. That's a given, especially when you've got the situation where you go up against a double block, people with 2 hands and going to hit it right back at you. But I'd say a good 70 to 80% of the time, it's going to go through the top of those fingers. I mean, those fingers can only take so much, and if you keep hitting the volleyballs at them, they're going to go through. And that time it went through Liz Ripetto.
Los Altos down by 5 in game 3. Mountain View won the second game, 15-5. Spartans dropped game 1, 15-4. Mountain View looking very good. They got the cobwebs out of their system in game 1, and game 2 they look good. Off to an auspicious start in game 3.
Well, we mentioned that. The optimists and pessimists both were right. The optimists saying, well, Mountain View's, hey, just rusty, coming off of a lack of competitive, continuous play. You know, both of these teams, along with St. Francis, all from the De Anza division, were supposed to participate in the Harbor tournament on Saturday down in Santa Cruz. But of course, with all the rain and wind and power outages we had this weekend, that tournament wound up being canceled. And St. Francis has found a way to make up for it. I don't know if Mountain View and Los Altos have added some matches down on their schedule, as we just had a service error from Mountain View number 6, Brian. But nonetheless, Mountain View didn't get in the work they wanted competitive-wise and game-wise this weekend. And neither did Los Altos or St. Francis, by the way.
Maria Saldana with the serve. Here's Leschuk down the line, side out.
These teams conceivably could have played this weekend in that tournament. I don't know what the scheduling would have been like, but maybe in an early round or even in a later round.
St. Francis at least gets to look forward to that Santa Barbara Tournament of Champions coming up in a week. Ace for Leschuk, point Spartans. Another ace for the Spartans.
That's number 7 for Mountain View, Christy Leschuk. Quiet in game 1, and you know what happens when Christy Leschuk is quiet like a volcano. You know what happens when a volcano is quiet for too long.
It erupts. And so far, Mountain Leschuk and the Spartans have been able to keep things rolling through games 2 and 3. Los Altos siding out. Here comes Izzy.
These two teams very good, and now they're having a fight over the banner back in the corner. But I was just going to say, Brian, these 3 teams, Los Altos, St. Francis, and Mountain View, we're all going to play in that Harbor tournament. Somebody's going to have to get control of this situation with that banner. It's now ripped up, and maybe finally they'll have that under control enough that we can play. But these 3 teams, all good enough. St. Francis's only loss in league play, and why they're leading the top of the division, came against Los Altos, by the way. That match taking place at St. Francis.
Becca Signs with a deep ball. Miscommunication. Chen and Leschuk looked at each other. Neither one went after the ball. And the Eagles get another point, their second of game 3. Overset. Raiden Dinking. As a party floats. Karen Tanaka. A rolling save by Leschuk. Free ball by Azaparty. Going to Harrington in the middle. Mountain View in the net. Called against Katie Azaparty. Points, Los Altos.
Well, the remedy we talked about for Mountain View in game 2 to get them going was, take a couple of serves, get aces, and get points off the other serves, and get yourself some momentum. That's what Los Altos needs to do here. They've got 2. Let's see if they can get more.
Raiden to Tanaka. Point LA. And now the Los Altos students beginning to vocalize. There they are behind the LA bench. 7-4, Eagles within 3. Net serve side out.
Well, Los Altos, though, put together a good 3-0 run. Maybe it's not over yet if they can get the ball back and continue to score some more points. But what they need to do is continue the momentum they just picked up there. As you see the banner being taken off in tatters in the background behind Courtney Rose. But Brian, a good run for Los Altos. Let's see if they can keep it going after they get the ball back, and that's the first task.
Signs free balls. Katie Azaparty, dug by Becca Signs. Free ball by Izzy Azatier. She free balled it into the net though. Point.
Well, Azatier, it's a case of not getting enough reps either. We talked about that for Ripito and Hala Pormon. The same thing applies to Azatier. With Winters in there, Azatier doesn't get as many chances.
Eustace setting up Azaparty. Point Mountain View.
Boy, Becca Signs trying to figure out what direction that ball was going, and it fell right at her hands, which were on the floor as she dived for that one. And Mountain View, give all the credit you want to the Spartans for playing just well here in games 2 and 3. Matter of fact, playing great.
Tanaka in, side out.
Boy, that was a close one.
Andre, what about fatigue as Tanaka goes back to serve? Both of these teams don't sub very much, and with Los Altos only 9 players suited up because of the injury to Winters. What about LA? They're on the short end of the score right now. What about that whole situation?
Well, I kind of mentioned that earlier. I talked about Los Altos wanting to rout in game 1 and try and shorten this match as much as possible, but with the greatness of Mountain View here in game 2 and 3 so far, that's not really going to happen, and Paul Lyles is just going to have to find an answer for that. So far he hasn't. Several long points, and Los Altos trailing most of game 2 and just about all of game 3. That hasn't happened either.
Now Melanie Eustace, who just killed, now back serving. Signs. Leschuk with a dig. Rose back to Leschuk. Conversion opportunity, LA. Here's Signs. Rose with a dig, at the net, Joust. Kept alive and free ball. Chance for the Spartans, has a party. Point Mountain View.
Not much Karen Tanaka could do with that. Her opposite number just hit it so hard. Katie Azzopardi, we talked about how she either hits it just right or too long, never too short. That one was hit hard and long and right into the hands of Karen Tanaka.
Tanaka was grimacing after that drive. That stung a little bit. 4 hit call. Signs left it short. Point Mountain View. The Spartans 11. The Eagles 4. And Lyles off the bench.
And the hand of Diana Craner went into the pocket. I thought we were going to see her pull out the yellow card again and give it to Paul Lyles. I believe you can get 2 yellow cards and then be restricted to the bench, and then you're in trouble if they have to reach into the pocket a 3rd time, right?
You are correct, sir.
Now Paul Lyles very unhappy as Diana Craner's decision after a little mini conference with the team captains goes against his team. But no 2nd yellow card yet. There must be some kind of reward for saving him up. Maybe a visit with Nancy Lazenby Blazer or something.
Possibly. Becca Signs with the hitting error. Another Mountain View point. Spartans 12, Eagles 4. Paul Lyles calls time.
Well, I don't know what Paul Lyles can really say to his team here, Brian. They've been frustrated in games 2 and 3. Maybe a little fatigue setting in, and they've really got to come up with something, whether it's this game or the next game, to fight back. And Becca Signs has made a few mistakes herself, but she's not really getting much help from her team. And you wonder if the talent of Mountain View is just too much for a Kristen Winters-less Los Altos.
5-0 run for Mountain View. It is 12-4.
And Brian, that comes right off of the little run that Los Altos had to try and get back in the match when this was, I believe, 7-4. Is that how close they got?
Yeah, it was 7-4, and the Eagles had the serve. Azadier committed the service error, and since that time, it's been all Mountain View. They've reeled off 5 straight points, and Kristen Winters with the soft cast on the right foot and ankle.
Well, Brian, I was probably going to make a bad statement. I was going to say that's the Achilles heel of Los Altos tonight.
Oh, my. Melanie Eustace back to serve as play resumes. Los Altos out of timeouts in game number 3. Leschuk getting to the loose ball. Free ball by Eustace. Signs. In or out? It's long. Becca Signs, another hitting error. 13-4 the score.
Well, she may also be hitting it too hard and too long out of frustration at the way these games 2 and 3 have gone, Brian. That definitely is a factor.
Off Eustace and out. That one counts for Becca Signs. And now the Eagles looking to climb up this 9-point hill. 13-4. Katie Harrington to serve for LA, and she's worked hard this match. Azzopardi. Little miscommunication. Tanaka and Harrington came together, side out.
Well, in the first meeting between these two teams, game number 2, Mountain View had a 10-1 lead, and Los Altos eventually came back, part of it, a 9-0 run. So they've done it before against this team. They didn't win that match, but they did come back in that game.
Ace. Game point number 1 for the Spartans. 8 service aces in the match for Mountain View, and Paul Lyles hoping his team can side out, and they do. Azzopardi with the serve in the net.
Well, Mountain View, high risk, high reward serving. 8 service aces, 7 service errors. And I guess since you're going to have side outs anyway, you'll take those service errors as long as you get the aces to boot with them. Los Altos off the hook temporarily.
Kept alive, Maria Saldana free balls. Leschuk couldn't stuff it. Saldana on the left side. Trouble, bit of a collision. Jody Antipas and Courtney Rose, both are all right. Side out. Actually, that's a point. Point for Los Altos, and they break a 7-0 Mountain View run. So it's 14-5. Eagles down by 9, and now they're down by 8. Illegal set, and it's 14-6.
Well, this is what Los Altos needed earlier when the match, or I should say game number 3, was a lot closer. They needed a nice little momentum run like this. But this is not really a complete run yet, it's a mini run. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Good serve by Lisa Radin. Trouble, Leschuk off balance. Ripito and Radin looked at each other. Ripito a little disappointed in herself right there. Quen Chen runs onto the floor. Game point number 2 for Mountain View. 14 serving 6. Signs hits long. Point and game Spartans. They lead the match 2-1, and the Mountain View students love it. 15-6. Mountain View wins game 3, and they're 1 game away from winning this match. 2-1, the Spartans on top in this best of 5. We're at Los Altos High, and you're watching high school volleyball on KMVT. Game number 4, must-win game for Los Altos to stay alive in the match. Mountain View dropped the first game, but then game 2 went to them, game 3 went to them. They're up 2-1.
Brian, they also faced a must-win game 4 when this match took place at Mountain View. Mountain View is up 2-1. Los Altos responded with a win in game 4. Could not pull out game 5 though, but a team meeting, this time with coach involved, and Lyle's doing a little yelling. Let's see what it did for his team during the last break.
Spartans getting to the loose balls. A frustrated Signs denied by Rose. Another chance for the Spartans. Antipas to Azzopardi. Radin to Signs. In, side out.
Brian, we talked about Mountain View with their winning streak in league. This would be their 6th straight win if they win game 4 or win game 5, nonetheless win the match. St. Francis has won 7 straight league games following their 1 loss to Los Altos, and really look at it this way, they can kind of put themselves up there with St. Francis, and the upcoming Mountain View St. Francis wars should be great.
Net serve by Katie Harrington. Katie has a party to serve for Mountain View. No score, game 4 just underway.
St. Francis, by the way, has already beaten Mountain View once. They did it in 3 games.
And there's your first game 4 point. Harrington over to the bleachers, couldn't catch up with it. 1-0 Mountain View.
Boy, Mountain View healthy tonight and just playing a little bit better than a less than healthy Los Altos team.
A rare serving error by Mountain View. They're a high-risk serving team.
8 of each, Bry. High risk, high reward, high penalty.
Just seems that Mountain View's serving errors have not come in bunches. They've been spaced out well enough to where they haven't hurt. Leschuk with the kill.
Well, a couple of things in repeat. I said before that Mountain View will take all those service aces, even if they have to accept those service errors too. And in repeat again, Christy Leschuk, hammer, point. Or I guess was this one just a side out, but nonetheless, same thing. You get the ball, get the point. Christy Leschuk will get you both.
Quen Chen with the serve. Liz Farmer sets Leschuk. It's wide, side out LA.
Boy, the way this one's going for Los Altos, you would have think somebody would have touched that. They dived after it. Fortunately for them, no one touched it this time.
Becca Signs one of the leaders on this Los Altos team. Back to serve. Leschuk out. Point LA, we're tied at 1 in game 4.
Well, the Spartans have mishit a couple of their last shots. Leschuk with a lot of adrenaline and her team with a lot of momentum.
Los Altos trying to overcome a 3-game-to-none loss against Los Gatos last week in a dogfight with Mountain View, and Ripito with the hitting error, side out.
Looked like she would have gone traveling into the net anyway. She was right up against it. If the ball's there, though, it doesn't matter.
Jody Antipus, 5'7" junior, puts it in play. Off Azzopardi, side out Los Altos.
Well, Los Altos going to be hurt by graduation this year. That's why they had that venting meeting after the loss at Mountain View. They wanted to go perfect in league, compete with St. Francis. And they're still behind these schools, but still in the thick of things. And as anything, anything can happen in the De Anza division and the CCS playoffs. And Los Altos really wanting to get it done this year.
6 seniors for the Eagles, including the person serving right now, Maria Saldana. 2-1 Los Altos. We're in the 4th game. Ace! Melanie Eusis with the receiving error, and now it's 3-1 Los Altos.
Just a 3rd service ace for the Eagles to go with 4 errors. They could definitely use a big lead, a big run.
Net serve. Signs consoled Saldana momentarily. Now Christy Leschuk.
Isn't Saldana the one that did that earlier? Service ace followed by service error?
I believe you're right. But that's what Saldana's in there for, her defense and serving. Back set, Eusis, deep ball, too deep, no touch, side out LA.
Well, Melanie Eusis goes hammer down more often than not, and that time she punched it. She obviously doesn't practice punching it as much. She just completely mispunched that one.
5'6" senior Izzy Azatyer. Good serve right at Leschuk. Azzopardi dissecting, side out. Annie Teep returning for Mountain View, number 11 in black. Becca Signs looking on.
Well,
Courtney Rose back to serve.
As Los Altos learned earlier, they better not hit it right to Annie Teep when she's staying there in the middle of the net. They'll pay for it if they do.
Net serve by Rose. This is Karen Tanaka serving, a front line of Harrington, Signs, and Radin at setter. Free balled. Radin to Signs. Rejected. Side out.
Mountain View having a great match. They're down 1-3 here in game 4, but just about everything since game 1 has seemed to work.
Annie Teep in the middle of that blocking sequence. Harrington floats it home. Katie avoided going into the net. Chalk it up for number 9, and now Harrington to serve. 3-1, Los Altos with the serve and a 2-point lead in game 4.
She also seemed to know if that one had gone for a hammer shot, it would have been blocked.
Timing off, Teep floated. Blocked. And a side out. Annie Teep involved again.
Annie Teep in the middle of that front line having some big plays.
Kristen Winters of Los Altos, not in uniform tonight, a minor stress fracture in her right foot. 2 hits called. Radin making a mistake. And the penalty is a Mountain View point. 3-2, Los Altos still up by 1. Ace for Azzopardi. Oh, and that serve had a little mustard on it.
High risk, High penalty. This case, high reward.
Tied at 3. Another mishandling of the serve by Los Altos. 4-3 Mountain View. They are up in game 4. They win game 4, the match is over.
Do I dare say that was the last time Los Altos will be ahead and be tied in this match?
Well, they get a chance to tie right here following the service error. Mountain View 4, Los Altos 3, and Liz Ripito, the 5'9" sophomore, back in. Raiden serving. Her team down a point. Leschuk. A little too much muscle behind it, and we're tied 4 apiece.
Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier in this game. Leschuk with a lot of adrenaline, her team with a lot of momentum, and sometimes when that happens, you tend to hit the ball too hard, too much. And a couple of times in this game, Christy Leschuk, their superstar, has done just that.
Raiden windmills, nearly lifted by Eustace. Free ball short, nearly fell in. Here's a drive by Becca Sines, beautifully tucked in the back corner, mark it on the ice, 5-4 Eagles.
Well, that's why you can't always predict things. I was saying, dare I say Mountain View, or I should say, dare I say Los Altos has led or been tied for the last time, and they immediately come back and tie it, then they immediately come back and take the lead. Becca Sines, though, still doing it alone. Give her some help and we'll have a game 5.
Leschuk. Backslide, Sines, off the block. Good save by Azzopardi. And the Eagles score 6-4. Los Altos up by 2.
This is where Los Altos got to grab game 4 by the throat. Make a run like they did in game 1 and take it. Take it to the Spartans. If they don't do it here, well, who knows?
LA has scored the last 3 points. Leschuk lines. Set piece. Chalk it up for Liz Ripito. It's a 4-0 Eagle run, 7-4 Los Altos.
Well, we get a substitution for Mountain View as they'll try and mix things up. But look at it this way. Bringing in Liz Farmer is not really going to stop you when you have Becca Sines and Liz Ripito on the front line for Los Altos if you keep getting them the ball. So far on this possession, they've gotten Ripito and Sines the chances to score.
Leschuk, the blocking is there. Joust, whistle, side out Mountain View.
Everything Coach S does seems to work. Brings in a substitution. Didn't have much effect on the play as Liz Farmer didn't touch the ball, but hey, change of momentum. Stopped play for a second, it worked.
Steve Santanastazzo brings Quen Chen in to serve. Replay, nobody made a call. The lines person did not make a call. Diane Craner waited and waited. We'll do it over.
You know why she didn't make a call? Because it was in. That's why. And she's a Los Altos JV. In. That's in.
Played up and over. Chance for the Eagles. Short set to Ripito. Antipas with a dink. Maria Saldana, whistle. Diane Craner has a point for Mountain View. Apparently Los Altos was in the net.
Well, that's justice. Sure, everybody with Paul Lyles would agree.
7-5 the score. That ball's in the bleachers. Good effort by Leschuk. Going over to the scorer's table, actually going into the bleachers, but Craner says, no, we're coming over here to the Eagles side.
The ball was over the scoring table.
Well, I can actually hear the Los Altos fans making noise right behind the Mountain View bench. Something they weren't doing in the first 3 games. Politely applauding, and that's about it.
Eagles leading and serving. 7 plays 5. Good serve by Sines. Here's Leschuk. Saldana and Ripito there for the block. Tanaka finds the seam. Point LA.
That's the help Becca Sines needs. She got it from Tanaka and Ripito in game 1. Katie Harrington's helped out a little bit here and there. And Tanaka with the slap, and it worked.
Saldana and Ripito are there for the block, and it's cleared over. That ball is out. Point Eagles. Timeout, Coach S.
Well, Steven Santanastaso finally forced to use a timeout. Mountain View playing a little bit sluggish here in game 4 and making some mistakes, but you got to feel they're still oozing that confidence, and they just need to kind of swing the momentum really more than tune anything up.
9-5, Los Altos with a 4-point lead here in game number 4. If you've just joined us, Mountain View leads this best of 5 game match 2-1. LA won the first game by a score of 15-4, but then the Spartans came back, won game 2 15-5, won game 3 15-6. So Los Altos needs to win here in game 4 to force a deciding game 5.
Well, a friend of mine told me before the match, if Andre Polizzi's here, it must go 5. That seems to be the way it is. And we're 6 points away from that, but Los Altos must finish. One of the things they talked about in that players-only meeting following the loss at Mountain View, where Becca Sines and Kristen Winters kind of took the whole team to task, including themselves, is finishing points, finishing games, finishing matches, winning in league. And for the most of game 2 and 3, and even parts of game 4 here, they haven't finished points, but they have taken advantage of some and some Mountain View mistakes and gotten the lead.
Jody Antipas with the serve. Deep ball, Becca Sines hit it into the net. Point Mountain View. The Eagles 9, the Spartans 6. And this is what you're talking about, Andre. Finishing games. Los Altos at home. They had momentum. Mountain View trying to take it away and get back in this thing. Leschuk muscling it home. Point Spartans 9-7.
Well, we talked about hitting hard and hitting at blocks. And that time, Christy Leschuk hit it right into the block, went through the fingers and fell straight down. That's what Leschuk does. 70% of the time it'll go through that block.
Tanaka, no. Leschuk, no. Good blocking. Ripito and Saldana shoring up that left side. Ripito in the middle. Azzopardi with the save. Antipas freeze. On the front slide, Tanaka, roofed by Eustace and Rose. Ripito denied. Good rally. Quinn Chen clears. Watershed moment in game 4. Who's going to win the rally? Leschuk. Harrington plays up. Becca Sines says, mine, mine, mine. Leschuk. Still alive. Free ball by Ripito. Leschuk. Long. No touch. Side out.
How was that not touched? Wow, I don't know. What a great point, though, Brian. All you can say for that, no matter who wins it, is wow.
That's the type of rally, Andre, that really shifts the momentum. And now Los Altos with a chance to build on the 9-7 lead, but they give that momentum right back on a service error. Oh, that's a rally killer. Literally and figuratively.
Kind of mistakes you can't make when you're without one of your top 2 players.
Tanaka cross court. The service error does not hurt. The Eagles get the ball right back. Karen Tanaka with the kill. Los Altos trying to hang in there in this 4th game. We have a whistle here. Diane Craner motioning for
They're not going to be allowed to stay there.
somebody to come over. She wants some supervisors here
to control
We
the
have
kids,
yet another
Brian.
break in the action. What's the situation here, Andre?
I think she wants them to control the Mountain View kids who are up measuring the wall and doing some antics along the side. You can barely see it in the background. They're way across on that other shot. To your right here of where those people are going, and our cameraman is following. There they are. Some kids causing some trouble and now looking for some way out, and these Mountain View fans are finally going to be ushered back to their seats after posting MV and sticker tape up on the wall. And great work by our camera crew led by Jose to take the good shot of that, as that tape will come off. And I was talking earlier, you can't let them post their banners in your gym. Why are you letting them do that? And then they go up there and they sneak up with the tape. They call for security. Security, well, security.
not only were they sticking tape up on the wall, but the students were standing there. And you can't have the students standing right behind the end line. And now Mountain View converting. They get the serve back. And you wonder in those type of situations, a little bit of a delay, maybe it takes some of the concentration away from Los Altos. Now Mountain View looking to pull within one, but Courtney Rose hits it into the net.
Well, Brian, the only thing I'm wondering is if they can do this at volleyball, how come they haven't tried to disrupt their opponents in football? Why didn't they try and sneak some people onto the field and distract Los Gatos or Fremont? They've only been able to use their energies here tonight, and maybe they're just discovering that way to distract a injury-riddled team.
Azzopardi with high fives all around. Side out. We're in game 4. Los Altos leading the 4th game, 9-7, but the Spartans are serving.
Well, again, it's time to bring out the optimist and the pessimist, and this time let's go to the Los Altos side. If you're the optimist, you're saying, well, we're 6 points away. We got to finish this off. We're 6 points away from a 5th game that we can win here with our home court advantage. If you're the pessimist, you're saying they're playing like it's Mountain View's home court, and we're still 8 points away from losing this one.
Becca Signs, it hit the lines person. That ball is out.
Has to be out. The lines person is outside the court.
The Mountain View lines person hearing it from the Los Altos students, but it was a good call. That ball was out, 9-8. The Eagle lead shaved to a point. Farmer digs. Point Mountain View, we are tied at 9. And now Mountain View looking to take the lead if they can score here.
Nice slap shot. Nobody from Los Altos able to save it. Paul Lyles again talking to Jessica Thurber, and timeout called by Paul.
Lyles wanted to know how many timeouts he had. The scorer said you've got 2, and he takes one here. Diane Craner's had a busy match. Both teams are back on the floor.
Well, she's battling everybody. She's battling the captains, she's battling the coaches, and she's battling the crowd. Earning the pay. That's what you do when you're a CCS official.
9-9, ace for Farmer. 10-9, Mountain View takes the lead, and they continue to chalk up the service aces.
That's number 10 for Mountain View, going with 11 service errors. High risk, high reward, high penalty, all of the above.
There's a service error, just what you were talking about, Andre.
Number 12, they're 2 behind. But they're 1 in the lead, 5 points away from victory.
Harrington serve handled. Played up by Tanaka. Nobody going after the ball, though. Izzy Azadyar kind of got caught in between there. Side out.
Well, I originally predicted Mountain View in 5 when I heard Kristen Winters was hurt. Said Mountain View in 4. Didn't look like much after game 1. Wanted to take that back, but boy, Mountain View, when it looked like Los Altos had all the momentum here in game 4 that they needed to send this to a 5th game, looks like a beaten team at this point. They've got to really rise up here, and this is the gut check for Paul Lyle's team, who originally wanted to go undefeated in league. That's gone, but hey, the playoffs are still there, and a league title somehow is still there.
Lyles just brought in number 12, Christine Cerventi, a senior. Becca Signs, who's also a senior, the catalyst, and the kill there. Steve Santonastaso in his first year at Mountain View looking on. His team still leading in game 4, 10-9. Ripito up front as Raiden serves. Leschuk down the line. Side out Mountain View.
That was a perfect shot by Christy Leschuk, and all Paul Lyles can do is sit down and sigh. Not much else you can do when the opposing team superstar hits one that perfect.
Rose, Antipas, and Leschuk up front for Mountain View. Played out of the beams. Quen Chen who served, got the dig there. Here's Leschuk, roofed. Farmer plays over. Signs with a set. Hit wide. Point Mountain View. Ripito with the hitting miscue.
Mountain View now 4 points away from victory here in game 4. Time for Los Altos to get that ball back if they want to get the match back. And I think Paul Lyles has 1 timeout left, and he just used it.
Time called by Los Altos. We're in game 4, 11-9, Mountain View up by 2. Play resumes here at Los Altos. Punched over by Ripito. Mountain View keeps it alive on a Rose free ball. The timing off between Ripito and Raiden. Point Mountain View. The Spartans lead 12-9. They are looking to win the match. They would do so if they win this 4th game. Tough serve. Becca Signs. Tipped by Antipas. Bump set Raiden to Signs. She can only fist it across. Leschuk. Dug by Harrington. Ripito freeze. Antipas. She cupped it. Slammed it down. Point Spartans.
Everything Coach Steven Santanastaso's team does works. The Antipas set slam, just the latest of everything that's worked tonight.
Service error by Quen Chen. Should point out both of these teams will go into the CCS playoffs as Division III schools. And a match like this could have a bearing on the seeding for the Division III bracketing. Leschuk. Of course, Andre, if Mountain View wins tonight, they'd sweep the season series with LA.
And let's put it this way. After a win here, assuming they get the next 2 points, they don't have to go to a 5th game to find out if they win. They get the next 2 points. Right now, Mountain View is a better team than Los Altos. Right now. The 6-2 record, second best in the division, deservingly so in the standings and mentally.
Los Altos not going away quietly. Side out. Karen Tanaka trying to get her club fired up. Maria Saldana checks in to serve.
Well, again, the optimist, Brian, we're 6 points away from forcing a 5th game. The pessimist, we're 2 points away from staving off.
The ball was touched by the Mountain View player. That's a Los Altos point. And that ends an 8-0 Spartan run. It was 9-5 Los Altos. Then Mountain View came back to make it 13-9. Now it's 13-10. Los Altos still down by 3. Annie Teep has returned for Mountain View.
Well, a big point here for Los Altos. They can't just get 1. They need to get 2, 3, 4.
Leschuk. Good blocking. Trouble in the net, though. Tanaka could not clear. Side out. Leschuk having a huge match.
With all due respect to Becca Signs on the floor, Christy Leschuk is the best player out there tonight. She will not let her team see Los Altos come back.
Tough serve, knuckling on Harrington. Dinked by Rose, played up by Signs. Free ball to cross. Antipas led it too far. Is it wide? Was there a touch? Questions, answers. Ruling, wide, no touch, side out Los Altos.
Well, let's see if they can capitalize, whether this is a break or not. Whether it's a break or a good call, Los Altos must take advantage of it.
No gripe from Coach S. Ripito serves. Melanie Eustace denied in her bid. Harrington through the block and down for the Eagle point.
Harrington can't hit it as hard as Becca Sines and Christy Leschuk can. But like we said, you hit it through a block enough times, it's eventually gonna go through. That time it did.
11 serves 13. Katie Azzopardi. Dig by Ripito. Freed by Ripito. Back set Eustace with a left hand. Sines is there. Eustace slaps it home. Side out.
Well, every time you think Melanie Eustace has finished up her duty for the night, she comes through with one more hit. Melanie, score it.
Eustace has emerged in league play this year. Paul Lyle's team hoping for a side out. Courtney Rose gets it across the net after a serving error her last time in the baseline. Eustace played up by Sines. Harrington. Raiden Dinks got a little help from the net cord. Free ball by Eustace. Conversion opportunity, LA. Raiden, Tanaka, Roof. Played over. The put away for Mountain View.
Tanaka blocked back at her.
Point, game, match. Mountain View wins.
And again, Brian, the Mountain View kids get to celebrate. In volleyball, they're the superior ones. They've beaten Los Gatos and Los Altos, their arch rivals now. Los Altos on that ledger twice. And Mountain View victorious. They really got it done tonight behind Christy Leschuk and Jody Antipas. Melanie Eustace too, Bri.
Courtney Rose serves out the match. Mountain View wins 15-11 in game 4. The final scores: Los Altos won the first game 15-4, but then Mountain View 15-5, 15-6, and 15-11. The Eagles dropped to 13-8 overall, 5-4 in the division. Mountain View now 6-2 in the division, 20-6 overall. There are the up to the minute De Anza division standings. Mountain View only a game behind the Lancers in the De Anza division, and those two clubs will meet here toward the end of the regular season.
Yes, St. Francis has already beaten Mountain View once. Mountain View and Palo Alto the surprise teams, and Los Altos and Los Gatos perhaps a little bit on the underachieving side, and a little bit disappointing too. Great match though tonight for Mountain View.
That'll do it for tonight's telecast. Thanks to our producer and director, Lazarus Sargentini's technical director, Yolanda Harmon. For Andre Polizzi and our entire KMBT crew, this is Brian Burkett. Thanks for joining us. This has been a KMBT Sports presentation.